So if you're wondering how do you achieve this kind of results in Unreal, and you are looking to increase your knowledge in materials, and how do you blend between different materials, and what options do you have, then I will help you in this video. I will show you all the types of methods that you can use in Unreal to actually blend different surfaces, such as this one. This one is a very nice blend. So I will show you what you can do on your site to have different types of blendings and play with them so that you can increase the quality of your environments. So let's get started. Let's create a material. So let me create a M blend 02. I think this one is empty, but anyway, we already have it. So first things first, how do you blend different surfaces? So let's drag a couple of textures. So let me just drag, for example, maybe, I don't know, maybe this one. Okay. And I'm gonna grab another one such as this one. Okay. So these are my two textures. So let's go into the most simple way of blending two different types of textures. And that is the linear interpolate. Now this node is so important that actually you can just hold the L key and click to just get this node, and you will be able to just create it very, very fast. Just hold L and click and you will have it. So how does this work? If you plug in A and B here, you will get a blend. By default is 0.5. If I go to 1, 100% of my blend will be on B. So this is my blending on the B as the only type of textures that is gonna show. And then in alpha, I'm gonna put 0. And you will see that actually I have my other texture here. Now, obviously you want something more complicated than this, right? So, okay. So if the value is 1 or white, you will get the value from B. If it's 0 or black, you will get the value, you know, from A. So the simple way to just blend between different materials is using texture. So let's grab some noise here. Normally you will import this texture into Unreal. So let me just start previewing node here so you can see what's going on. So it's very small. So let me just try to make it a little bit bigger. All right. So maybe like this. Okay. So this works very well. So what I can do here is actually put this thing here. And what you will notice when I stop previewing this, you will see that actually I have a couple of textures here. Now, there is an important reason why this one looks black. And the reason for that is these values may or may not be tiling to a maximum of 1. Like, from what I mean is the white can be maybe 1.5, 2, 3, 4, we don't know. And the black can be -1, -2, whatever, but it will always show in the texture as black or white. So what you need to do, and this goes for whatever type of blending that you want to use, is just the clamp node. So if you use the clamp node and put it here, you will notice that your texture now will have different values. So let's go ahead, and this one is loading, and look at this. Now my texture looks perfectly fine. Now, you will see that you have some gradients here, and maybe that's what you want, maybe that's not what you want, you know. Obviously, we're only blending one texture. You will want to blend different ones. We're gonna talk about this later. But there is an important texture that you need to use in your, let's just say, in your environments if you want to make them look good. And that texture is called the height map. So if we take a look at my texture here, I do have a mask. So let's drag this here. Let me double click on this so you can check what is going on. So this mask, in every channel, there's different types of information. So the red one is going to be my ambient occlusion. The green one is going to be my roughness, which is how reflective my surface is. And on the blue one, I'm going to have my height map. And my height map, it's really important because the black values are going to be the, as you see, the valleys. And the peak values are going to be on the white. So let's just say this is your surface, and the white values are going to be here. And you go back, and then you have the black values here at 0. This is 1, this is 0, and anything in between, if you go to the middle, is 0.5. And then you have your displacement, which is obviously used to add surface detail with geometry in your scene if you want to have this. So what I can actually do is blend based on the height of this. So let's just move this away, and let me just drag the blue one and put it on the clamp. Remember, always use the clamp node whenever you want to blend textures. And as you can see, we're having kind of like a fade kind of blending, like it's, you know, it's not very harsh, right? So in this case, what you want to use is the cheap contrast. So you can use a cheap contrast here, drag it, put it here, and now let's put the contrast of 1 here. Let's just put 1, 2, and you will notice that my texture, it's on the black values of this. It's on the black values. I'm gonna make it super clear by, actually I'm gonna do it later. When we can, I will show you how to blend materials. But for now, you can see that your texture is blending on the dark areas. If I start previewing this node, what you will see is that I do have a very nice black and white texture, but it's based on this texture here. That's why it looks so realistic compared to this noise that is just scattering everywhere, right? So there are a couple of things you can do here. So if you actually want to combine those two, because maybe you don't want this texture to be, you know, everywhere, right? You can actually add another blend. And on the alpha, it's going to be the cheap contrast. And you're going to put this here. And then on the black values, it's just going to be black. The white values is just going to be this one. And what you can do, let's just go ahead and start previewing this node. What you will see is that actually I do have my noise, but I'm actually scattering based on the noise texture. You can also change this the other way around. For example, you want to use the alpha here, and the result, it's gonna be here on the Lerp, and the clamp is gonna be here. That's also another option for you. And if you take a look at the texture, it's just gonna look very, very nice. All right, so this is one of my favorite methods. Okay, let's go back to another way of blending. So we talk about the simple blending, the texture based blending, and the height map based blending. So let's just put this back here. There you go. So what is the other way of blending materials is based on vertex color. Now, you may think that, hey, vertex color is not supported on Nanite. Yes, it is. I'm going to show you. So let's go to vertex color here. And what you have is basically your data. You're going to have different colors for each material. So what you will do is put, for example, the red one. You're going to paint it here. You can clamp the value or not. It doesn't really matter because vertex colors are already clamped, but it doesn't hurt just in case. So I'm going to apply this, and I'm going to show you how to paint. Now, this is not a nanite mesh, right? You cannot paint on nanite meshes. So if you have a nanite mesh, open up the static mesh editor, and what you need to do is disable nanite support. The other thing is that you need some geometry. You don't need a lot of geometry, but a little bit will help. You go here to the mesh paint, and now you start painting. Now, everything is white now. So as you can see, and let me just put my material here. So you can take a look at what's going on. Let's put the blend mode here. And if I paint white, nothing will happen because everything is white. And the white value is giving me this material. That's why we're having this, right? So what I can do is actually paint black by holding shift. I can paint black and you will see that I'm painting the vertex color like this. Now, what you will see, what will happen is that I'm actually painting my material and I'm having a lot of control on this. I can just paint this and I can decide where I want this texture to go. Vertex painting is extremely important on environment creation. So it's extremely useful, one of my favorite tools. So you can just have control over everything that you want. The image I show you before, it's also vertex painting. Now, you will notice that this is not the best transition, right? It's kind of like fading out. It doesn't look very natural. Obviously, we're only using one texture for this, but there is a node that is very, very cool. I'm gonna show you now. It is the height Lerp. And the height Lerp asks for a bunch of things. The first is the transition phase, and this is gonna be our vertex color. The next one is gonna be our height texture. I'm gonna put this one here as my height texture. And then is the contrast. So I'm gonna put a scalar value. You can just press 1 and click to have it. And my contrast will be 1 by default. And you have a bunch of outputs here. You're gonna want to choose the alpha one. And the alpha one is you're gonna put it on clamp. And now watch what will happen. Now our vertex painting is actually using the height values of our texture. Now we can actually change this value. So let me just put this thing here. For example, put a value of 5. Let's see if it makes any difference there. Yeah, it's just much more sharp, you know. So if this height texture doesn't really satisfy you, you can always, always look for another one. But I mean, try the other texture as well. But it really does work quite well. It's way more natural, especially when you start painting like strength like 0.1 and just start like painting little by little. You will see that it starts happening on the surface of this. Now, this height map should be on the other way around. So what I can actually do is just swap this so you can see better what's going on. So when I paint, you will see that on the valleys, on the deep side of the texture, I'm adding you will see this area here, I'm adding there first, and then I add on top of things. That's exactly what's happening. It's following the surface, just like this. Just following the surface. You can see how it works very, very, very good here. Okay, so very, very nice feature. You want to play with this, especially when you want to have like a little bit of a nicer blend, right? So a little bit of a nicer blend. One of my favorite methods, to be honest. Now, your question is, what if I want to use nanite? Very simple. Before you leave this mode, you're gonna go to apply to mesh. And what this will do is to save the information of your vertex painting in your mesh. So if you click here, then go to override. Now your vertex paint information, let me open up this static mesh. You can actually show and then go to vertex colors. You will see that your vertex colors are stored in the original file, which means if I were to just apply changes here and enable nanite support for this, what you will see is that I haven't lost my material. This is a nanite mesh. We go nanite, go to triangles. You will see that this is a nanite mesh. And we do have the vertex color information. There is a downside of this. If you want to paint again, mesh paint, you won't be able to paint. So you just disable nanite, apply changes, and then you can paint again. And to be honest, it's per instance vertex painting is the best you can have. There is other ways of doing that. I'm not gonna cover that in this video, but this is already very, very good. So let's talk about how do you blend materials, because so far we have been blending between two textures. Now, let's go ahead and import the rest of the textures. This one needs a normal map right here, and also a mask. So I'm gonna put the mask here. There you go. Okay, so this one, let's take a look at where this texture is stored. That we're gonna grab the normal and the mask. So now I have my textures here. Now, if you want to blend everything, you will need to do the same for all the textures. So go ahead, hit L, and on the B, you will put this one, right? And on the A, you're gonna put this one. Sorry if it's a little bit messy. I'm gonna clean this up in a bit. And the alpha, it's gonna be this one. And this one, you're gonna put it on your normal. So just like that, hit apply. And you're gonna have to do this for every texture. Now, obviously with a normal map, it looks way nicer, right? way nicer. The normal map just adds so much detail to your textures. You can do it that way, or you can do it that smarter way. We have material layer blend simple, and we have material layer blend standard. I will show you what this means. So if I go to material layer blend simple and double click on this, you will see that what's happening is I'm actually blending between all these textures, and I'm putting the lerp on each one of them. It's basically doing the work for you. Now, when you want to use the simple, when you want to use the standard, simple obviously has less properties to work with, therefore has less instruction, it's faster. If you don't need a lot of things, simple is good. For us, we want the normal map, and if we go to our material layer blend standard, you will see that actually has the blend material attributes, which will blend everything. All right. So we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is to go here and make material attributes. And this is going to be my material one. So I'm going to put the base color here. All right. And let me see, where is the B? I'm going to put this one here. This one is rock stone floor. Yes, it is. I'm going to put the red one on the ambient occlusion, the green one on the roughness. The blue one is my displacement. I'm not really going to use it, so I'm just leave it like that. And this is going to be my material B. All right. I'm going to do the same for this. Make material attributes. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the base color. This one for mask, ambient occlusion here, roughness on the green one, and the normal map, it's gonna be here. Now, we don't need this anymore. We don't need the lerp. We just need a material layer blend standard. So this is gonna be your alpha. And this is gonna be your second material. It's gonna be material A. So what you're gonna do is to grab the material blend standard, and the base material is gonna be our A. So A is gonna be here, B is gonna be the top material, and the alpha, it's just gonna be this one. So I'm gonna go ahead here, and you notice that you cannot connect these ones. There, you can either do a break material attributes, and you will go for base color and connect all the nodes that you want. Or You can just go here to the left side of the screen, go to use material attributes, click here, and now you can just connect the material directly into the output, hit apply, and now you will see that your material is much more simple and it does have the same results. It does have the same results. And now we're blending all the properties. We're blending the ambient occlusion, the normal, the base color, etc. Like, you can keep adding more stuff as you wish, but this is the basics of blending materials. So we talk about texture-based blending. We talk about height texture-based blending. We talk about vertex color. We talk about vertex color and height blending with the vertex color. So these are the most common methods. Feel free to play with them and let me know in the comments how your scene looks like after this. If you enjoyed this video, it will help us a lot if you give us a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and if you are a committed game developer, feel free to check our course on creating an action game from scratch, and you can start the first lesson for free. So make sure to try it out if you want to learn how to create AAA games. I put a link in the description where you can follow, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.